Thanks, Justin. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. And before I get rocking and rolling, obviously, please, if you guys have questions, make sure to punch those in the text box, and be more than happy to answer them. But as Coach mentioned, I'm Dan Watson. I'm the offensive coordinator at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, located in Terre Haute, Indiana. Division III, we can compete in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, and we're a pretty unique case. We've been, the nation's #1 undergraduate engineering school for the last 21 years, and really fortunate to work with some really smart young men. But beyond just how smart they are, the guys that we have, the guys that are on our team, that engineering mind, they work super, super hard at what they do. So it's a very gratifying ordeal. But without further ado, we'll get talking about our Scat concept here. And it's unique to us in regards, I'll talk on some more pointers here coming up, but kind of what we're able to do with it, and just kind of the copycat business, tracking this as far back as I knew. This was kind of what Paul Christ was doing in 3x1 back when he was the OC at Wisconsin. So when teams started playing a lot of that cross key coverage, the 4 with the weak safety, playing 3 up the field, and that sort of thing is kind of where this whole thing birthed from, and we've been doing it ever since, and we really like it. Okay, so some questions here: why we use our Scat concept. First and foremost, and I think everybody wants to be more simple and wants to have more cut and dry answers. It's a simple read for the quarterback. Obviously, that's extremely important, because the less you can put on that guy's plate, he's already got so many things going on the way it is. The easier we can make it for him, the better. So it's a pretty cut and dry read for the quarterback. I think the Scat concept lends some versatility to us within our offense, to run it from different personnel groupings and different formations. Typically, we like to operate out of 11 personnel, and our tight end guy we refer to as a superback. So we ask him to do a little bit of everything. He plays fullback, he plays inline tight end, he extends out and plays receiver. He does a little bit of everything, but we can also do it when we get into 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. We can still scat when we get into our 10 personnel as well. And then from a formation standpoint, we can do it out of 3x1 attached. We can do it out of 3x1 extended. We can do it out of 3x1 nub set. I have some clips of that on here. And then we also have the ability to switch around where some guys are at on the field, and I'll talk about that more when we get rolling. And then one thing that I think is extremely important, and we find ourselves talking about this a whole lot, is it creates more plays with fewer schemes. And I'll expand on that in just a moment. But when we scat, we have the ability to implement our day one install drop back concepts in a different way. So again, creating more plays with fewer schemes. And then the one kind of sidebar to the Scat concept is it's 5-man protection. So I know that can spook some people, but we have a certain look cadence that we might use that would enable the quarterback to make sure the pro's right, and we're picking everything up. Okay, so first and foremost, the #1 thing we do in all of our game planning from a throwing the football standpoint at Rose is we want to talk about protection. Okay, as I mentioned, it's a 5-man drop back protection play for us, a scheme, if you will. All right, and I'll preface this with, anytime we install something at Rose, we install it against an even front, just because that's what we see pretty much, other than our defense in practice and 1 or 2 teams in the conference. Most of the teams we play are going to be a 4-down even type front. So we install most of our plays against that to start. So anytime we're in 5-man drop back protection, facing an even front, we're going to auto slide to the field. So we're a man slide concept up front. So we'll man pro the boundary with the guard and the tackle, and we'll be a 3-man slide to the field. Center's got to communicate our slide every play. Okay. If we were in the middle of the field, the center's going to default slide left, and we typically try and teach them up, hey, look down the field. Are you inside the goalpost? If you're inside the goalpost, just consider that middle of the field. That's kind of our how we dictate that. Handling pressure, and this is obviously stuff that we talk with the quarterback all the time. We rep the crap out of it during the week in practice. Handling pressure, so handling a single blitzer from the field, will be absorbed by the slide up front. The 3-man slide will handle a single blitzer, from the field. Handling a single blitzer from the boundary. Okay, if he's coming from pressure, or if he's coming from depth, we're hot. If we were to get a mugged up backer, we would squeeze that. And I'll show you what I mean by squeeze here in just a moment. So we would cut a defensive end loose. And then if we were in our look cadence, the quarterback could have the ability to flip the slide into the boundary, so we would be good there. Handling 2 blitzers from the field, if we were to get Sam D, Mike B, we would be hot off the second, okay? We have hot routes built in to our schemes, and I'll tell you more about those in the scat here in just a moment. And then handling 2 blitzers from the boundary, same thing. We're going to be hot, but the quarterback could flip the slide into the boundary to make sure that he buys himself some time, and we at least pick up the inside guy. And then from an odd front standpoint, anytime we face just a normal 3-down odd, center and tackles covered up, we're going to double read the guards. Both guards are going to set with their inside hand and inside foot in the A gap to hold space for the center on the nose, and they're reading inside out. And I'll show you some more on that in a picture here in just a moment. Again, that's communicated by the center on every play. Against a solid front or a tight front with 4 eyes or 3s or double 4s, we're going to double read the guards and the tackles. So both guard and tackle will set the 4-eye, and the center would be manned on the nose. And then addressing pressure, single blitzer from the field or the boundary will be absorbed by the read. Okay, 2 blitzers from the field, we'd be hot off 2. When we're facing odd fronts, our quarterback has the ability in our look cadence, has the ability to flip a 4-man slide. So we would be good off of 2 if we were sliding to it, if we're executing our look cadence. And then same with the 2 blitzers from the boundary. If we had our look cadence and we were 4-man sliding into the boundary, we'd be able to pick it up. Otherwise, we'd be hot off the second guy. Okay, and then just an image of it. So both of these images are as if we were on the right hash. Okay. We talk our man side. All right. So this would be communicated from the quarterback. Hey, we're 5-man pro. Center would be communicating our 3-man slide to the field. Lulu. Okay. And then our man side guard, we tell him he's responsible for 1 LOS, first down lineman, my side of the line of scrimmage, and the tackle is responsible for 2. So those guys are manned. However, as I mentioned earlier, we're on squeeze alert anytime we're in 5-man drop back pro. So if the will were to walk up and mug the A gap, we would squeeze it. We would signal it to the quarterback and yell it so he knows he's going to be hot off the rush here. Guard would squeeze down to the A gap. Tackle would squeeze down to the B gap, and we'd be hot off the rush. Okay. And we've got our different rules to the different fronts, as I mentioned, focusing on this box here primarily, and then this box here. If we're facing a 3-down odd, okay, we're going to execute our guard double read, and we refer to that as Molly. So 5-man drop back, Molly, Molly, Molly. We're facing an odd. Right guard's left hand, left foot in A gap. Left guard is right hand, right foot in A gap. So I should have 4 hands and feet in each gap, and I'm reading inside out. So left guard would be Will DeBuck. Right guard would be Mike DeSant. Okay. If we're facing a 3-down solid front, we're now executing our Mindy protection. To where both guards and tackles are setting the 4 eyes. Okay, center's on an island. He's manned on the nose. And then now when we double read against solid front, we're now reading outside in. Okay, and a lot of that is in regards to empty. Is that or 5-man pro? Is that great? No, but we marry these concepts as much as we can with our 6-man pro. We want to try and do as much same as teaching as possible. So all of our 5-man quick game drop back, 6-man quick game drop back, we try and keep them all the same. That way it's one thing to teach to each front. Okay. So the first cut I have here, mainly talking protection, but as I mentioned earlier, our scat concepts we can do from a multitude of formations. Here we're in our 3x1 nub set, so we're tight end nub to the boundary, and we actually have a scat concept on here. Not a lot of the cut-ups that I have for you guys tonight are out of this formation, so I just wanted to make sure that I talked about that. But we're facing a 4-down even front, okay? So we know up front it's 5-man drop back protection. So the center's going to communicate, hey, we're sliding to the field. So again, the boundary guard, the left guard is responsible for 1, left tackle is responsible for 2, and we should get 3-man slide to the field. Slide right call, 3-man slide, Ray. You can see our guys do a fairly good job at handling the twists. I'd like to see the left guard just cover up that 5 a little bit better, but that's against the even front. That's the 5-man drop back pro against the even front. Okay. Here we're facing an odd front, so we're 32 odd. All right. Our big boys, again, we're executing our guards double read protection. Okay. So as the ball is snapped here, you'll see I should get left guard, should be right foot, right hand in A gap. Right guard should be left foot, left hand in A gap. Left guard's reading 22 and out to the Sam. Right guard is reading 30 and all the way out to the buck or the boundary safety. I believe, yeah, we get a twist here to the field. You guys do a pretty good job at picking that up. We just need to make sure we keep our feet. I remember a look at the 5-man drop back protection against the solid front. Okay, so again, anytime we face our solid front, our normal install now, we're double reading both guards and tackles. This week we were treating the head up 4s like a 4-eye. Sometimes we'll treat them like a 5, depending upon who that player is. And with that being said, I don't think there are any cut-ups of it on here. But if I were to split the center down the line, if I had a true 5, okay, over here and a 4-eye over here, we would just be half Mindy protection is what we call our guard and tackle setting the guy. So we'd be Mindy over here and we would be Molly over here. That makes it a little dicey on the back, but we get our guys coached up pretty well. So as I mentioned this week, we were treating that head up 4 like a 4-eye just because we were facing a dude DN this week. So you're going to see double read by the left guard and the left tackle on the 4. And again, they're outside in. Okay. And then we're going double read by the right guard, right tackle, outside in, center. And the, the sidebar to this protection is, again, you're putting your center on an island with a true 0. But we felt good about our matchup that week. And then, if there are weeks that we don't, we can just execute a 4-man slide, that sort of thing. So kind of our overview here, all right, of our Scat concept. Again, I just talked to you guys through the protection. Anytime that we give the quarterback the ability to look cadence the defense, it's a different look cadence than normal. So our normal look cadence is the old dummy cadence, look to the sideline, get the call. The look cadence I'm referring to that we use for our Scat concepts, the quarterback knows the call. He knows what the standard protection is. It's kind of a quick look cadence, if you will. So we give the code word, dummy cadence. Hey, I got no pressure. We're good. Hey, 5-man drop back pro. There's my code word. We're good to go. Okay. If he does feel pressure, say we're on the left hash and we're getting pressure into the boundary, he'd just give him, hey, Sonics Linda, and that tells us up front, all right, we're normal 5-man drop back rules, but now our slide is going to the boundary instead of to the field as per usual. Okay. And then obviously, just like any other concept, it's important for the quarterback to know where his hot routes are. Okay. And I'll talk in more detail about where these come from. But if he were hot in our Scat concepts, he could throw the post, the swing, or the speed dig. All right. From an assignment standpoint on our Scat concepts, I'm going to show you guys some images here in just a moment to clear this up. Typically, the way we operate from a standard procedure standpoint, our outside guys stay left and right. So it's very important that they know if they are the strong receiver or the weak receiver. We feel that enables us to play fast. It's the same reason why we like operating out of 11 personnel with a super back at the tight end position. So S1 and S2, those guys, as I mentioned, in this scheme, we are utilizing our day one drop back concepts. So S1 and S2 have the drop back concept that's tagged, if you will, and I'll explain how we do that here in just a second. Anytime we run a Scat S3, whether it's attached tight end, whether it's an off the ball tight end, or if it were an extended receiver, he's running a 3-0 post. W1, the weak receiver into the boundary. Again, whether that's an extended guy or a nub tight end, he's running a speed dig. And then the A, which is our running back, he's got a hot swing into the boundary. Okay, so the plays I have for you here, these are the next two plays are the two concepts that we like to marry the most with our scat concepts. And hook, this is just a 2x2 attached formation. This is a day one drop back install for us. It's a hook concept, so it's a hook by one and a flat by two. Okay. Anytime we run this out of 2x2 and it's a normal mirrored thing, we are just working the best look side. Okay, which is not the case when we go scat. Just so you guys have an idea as to what that looks like. The Mud Bowl in 2018 against Rhodes College. And then this is our mash concept, which is commonly referred to as smash. It's, hitch corner. Our outside guys, when we run mash, which again is commonly referred to as smash, our outside guys are on a reed hitch. If they've got free access, they're just working a whip hitch. If they've got cloud or press coverage, they're working a whip. I believe this play here is before we instituted that rule. So you're just going to see whips by both outside guys, but it's corners by the inside guys. Out here to the right, this is our tight end super back, and this is why we don't love just running our straight up 2x2 mirrored concepts, because we're asking a tight end fullback body guy now to run a corner. This is before we got turf, as you see on some of the cut-ups, some spring ball practice there. D3, underwear Olympics and spring ball, no pads. Okay, so when we get into the scat concept, the very first thing the quarterback needs to do is identify the scat defender, okay? And the very first point that I shared with you guys in regards to why we like running scat concepts is it's an easy read for the quarterback, okay? Everything on our scats is defined by middle field open, middle field close, all right? Anytime the middle of the field is open, the scat defender is the free safety or the boundary safety, okay? So if he were to pedal strong, we're working weak, all right? We're working the dig to the swing. If he were to just pedal for depth or work for width, we would now work strong, and we work the post to whatever tag concept we have with these two guys. Okay. And again, we really like this concept against middle field open. We mostly see middle field open. We love, as you'll see on some of the cut-ups here, we love throwing it to middle field open where the free safety is cross key and 3 vertical because we feel like it's stealing on our dig to our swing. But again, just kind of a tools in the tool belt. We have to have rules to middle field close. Anytime we've got middle field close, we're telling the quarterback, the scat defender is the third defender below the hard deck weak, okay? In our RPO game, and obviously as you can see in our scat game, we've got a landmark that we refer to as the hard deck, and it is 8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So in this instance here, we're on the 37-yard line. So the 45-yard line would be the hard deck. So for the quarterback to identify the scat defender in a middle field close by the defense, he's reading 1, 2. The third defender below the hard deck, weak from the outside in, is the scat defender. So same concept. If he were to work across the formation and work strong, we'd work weak. We'd be working our dig to our swing. If he were to work weak, push out to the flat, whatever he may do, we now are working strong. We're working the post to whatever concept we've got by these two guys. And typically, obviously, it's a different conversation within itself, but that hard deck lends us to who we're going to read for our bubble RPOs or our stick RPOs and that sort of thing. Okay, so the scat concept, as I showed you on paper earlier through words, anytime we run a scat, okay, S3 is always going to have a 3-0 post. And we've changed that recently. We used to just call it a beam, and we just had that guy run straight to the beam. But to actually, consider this guy, if we're getting too high safeties, we like it more out of a post. And so S3, again, could be an extended receiver. It could be an attached tight end. It could be an off-the-ball tight end, what have you, all right? S3 is going to have the post. W1 is always going to have a 3-0 speed dig. And then our running back, is always going to have a hot swing into the boundary. S1 and S2, strong receiver 1, strong receiver 2, they are going to execute whatever concept is tagged on the scat. And as I mentioned, mash is what, most people refer to as smash. When we call smash, now that's our scat with a mash, okay? And then our hook concept, anytime we call shook, that is our hook in the scat family, okay? And obviously our signals for those are pretty unique. So that's another way for the guys to know what we're talking about. But quarterback, he's on a 3-step set, and that's what we work when we're working drop back. Again, he's reading middle field open, middle field closed to designate the scat defender. All right. We tell the quarterback if he's working weak or strong, we want him to start with his eyes to the post. Okay. A couple things that's going to pull the mic out of there to clean up the dig window. And it works well with some of the concepts that I'm going to talk to you guys about that complement our scats well. Okay. And just simply, again, if the scat defender stays weak, we're reading post to our strong concept. If the scat defender works strong, we're working our from the post to the dig to the swing. Okay, and his hots, if he's hot and working strong, he's throwing the post. If he's hot and working weak, he's throwing the swing or the dig. Okay, here's just a look at those drawn up for you guys. Up here, again, smash is scat with our mash concept. Shook is smash with our hook concept. And I'll talk to you, we're not talking about snail today. I just kind of wanted to carry these two to share with you guys. Okay, so first things first. So here's a look at some of our smash concepts. First things first, again, up front, we're facing a 4-down even front. So we're going to be man the boundary, slide the field. The quarterback, middle field open, middle field closed, it's middle field open. So the free safety here, the boundary safety, that's our scat defender. If he works weak, we're working strong. If he works strong, we're working weak. Against this defense, we know they really love the boundary safety, cross key in 3. So we knew that we were going to get a bunch of, dig to swing, digs to swings this week, And then inevitably what it turns into is a game off the will backer, right? If he's flying out to the flat to cover the swing, we should be completing the dig. And then if he is sitting in the box or not expanding, then we should be completing the swing. And again, the protection up front, we are man the boundary, slide the field. So we're 3-man slide to the field. Big boys do a pretty good job at handling the double twists up front, completing the dig. Okay, same defense, same look. All right. First thing that we're doing is identifying up front. They've identified here they slide left because the center called them between the goalposts. But identifying the scat defender. Scat defender in middle field open is the boundary safety. All right, eyes to him. He works strong, going from the post to the dig to the swing. And again, from a protection standpoint, up here we slid left. Middle 3 do a good job at trading off that tackle twist there. Okay, now we end up getting, all right, we're middle field open again, okay? So we're reading the boundary safety, the free safety. Here we end up working to the swing, and you'll see, obviously, they've got their mic plussed out over 3. Their will is in the box here. So we've just got great leverage, period. But he's standing flat-footed. We're off the dig right to the swing right now. And again, as I mentioned, going against these teams where you're going to get a lot of weak reads, it ends up kind of being a game off that will backer. Up front, we were sliding to the field here, sliding to the right. My right guard here, he's responsible for the B gap. Anytime I tell those guys, anytime they're setting away from a technique that's touching them. So if this shade were a 2-eye, I'd tell him, hey, hold space, block the man with your body, block your gap with your eyes. Here he's just confusing the 2-eye with a shade. He should just be setting out. I'm fine with asking our centers to cover up a shade. Okay, so here now we are in our 3x1 nub set. Here we actually have switch shook. And again, as I mentioned in that first slide, the ability to kind of do multiple things off of one look. So anytime we tag switch to our concepts, the inside receivers are switching responsibilities. So here you're actually going to see a post by 2. a flat by 3, and our hook by 1. Again, this is switch shook, and then you're going to see a speed dig out of the attached tight end and a swing by the back. The middle of the field's open, so we're reading the boundary safety. As you see here before the play starts, he just kind of pedals and holds the hash, so it's a strong read. We now are post to hook to flat. Quarterback ends up being a little bit hot there, so he's just cranking out that flat anyhow. From a protection standpoint, this game, we were actually 4-man sliding. We weren't having our normal Mindy Molly rules, but the center just kind of gets beat across his face there. So that's why the quarterback gets flushed and ends up throwing the ball hot to the flat now. Okay, so now this is kind of us, again, from a different formation. We've now got attached tight end. We're 3-by-1 attached tight end, okay? We've got our smash concept, which is our mash. So we've got corner by 2. This was before we instituted our read hitch rule. So you're going to see a whip by 1. The boundary receiver here, he's on his dig. We get a swing by the back to the left. You can't see the safeties here. They're off the screen, but the defense ends up rolling to cover 3. So this boundary safety drives to the flat over here into the boundary. So the quarterback works strong. Which is good. That's where we want them to work when they roll 3. However, we throw the post here to a 1 high safety, which we've kind of been notorious for over the last 2 years, and we've got a pretty good track record of it, as crazy as that sounds. But we should be to the whip here. But sometimes being lucky is being better than being good. And then up front here, again, we are in our – so we're in our guards double read protection here. We've got a tight 4-eye, and the Sam was walked up. So you're going to see we fan out here to the 4-eye and to the Sam pressure. Again, not necessarily an advice throw, but sometimes it happens. Okay. So now we're on our smash concept. So again, we've got corner, and this is before we instituted our rule. So you'll see, a whip. Okay. 1's got the post. 3 has the post, and then we've got dig, swing. Again, we're middle field open, so our read is the boundary safety. You'll see him pedal during their combination coverage here, playing 4 to the field, 2 to the boundary. So we end up throwing the corner. Great catch by a hell of a ball player. And this guy, so another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is kind of dependent upon formation, what's 2 going to have in the concept, right? If this is a down the field kind of play, like a corner on our smash concept, I don't want to ask our super back to do that. So I'm going to make sure he's 3. I'm going to put him on the post. Okay. If this is some sort of flat affecting route, like on our hook, now I'm fine with letting our big guy run the hook and putting our fast H receiver on the post. Especially if we end up throwing the post. I love throwing the post to the fast guys compared to the bigger, slower guy. But just kind of a KYP thing, know your personnel, that sort of thing. And then from a protection standpoint here, again, we are sliding to the field. So the right guard, right tackle, 1 LOS, 2 LOS. Right tackle's just got to do a better job at setting with some more depth there, and then getting long to run that guy on the hoop. Okay, so here, this is our snail concept. And again, I wasn't going to talk too much detail about this concept for you. As I mentioned before, we don't have a whole lot of middle field closed looks, but this is actually one of them, middle field closed. So again, anytime the middle of the field's closed, we're reading 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're reading the 3rd defender below the hard deck weak from the outside in. So now I'm checking the mic drop as a quarterback. If he drops strong, I'm working weak. If he drops weak, I'm working strong. As you see here, he drops strong. So we are right to the speed dig, eyes to the post, speed dig to the swing, playing the game off the will. Obviously, he's running to the running back swing right now, so I know I'm throwing the dig. The boundary receiver here can do a little bit better on his chicken wing. It's not bad, but he's just got to get his eyes to the quarterback right now as soon as he gets into his break. Talk to those guys a lot about how that thing is typically going to become getting put on you hot out of your break. So he just got to get his eyes to the quarterback and finish the play here with a completion. Up front, from a protection standpoint, we're sliding to the field. So we're three-man slide to the field. Obviously, the center not doing a great job at holding his own there. That was our emergency center, not a guy that we wanted playing that position often for us. And then a look from the way back machine. Again, our old, beautiful grass field. So we're middle field close, okay? Middle field close. So we're identifying the scat defender as not one, not two, but the third defender under the hard deck weak, okay? As you see here, he opens strong. The will gets some depth in his drop. So we are right to the swing right now. Got to break a tackle, go make a play. And then up front, we're three-man slide to the field. Okay, so we are one LOS, two LOS, man, three-man slide to the field. Okay, so in a nutshell, those are our scat concepts. And again, we like to work those. Primarily, we really like those when we know we're going to get too high, when we know we're going to get the cross coverage from the boundary safety, because we love working the dig swing. But we've got rules to make them universal, and technically we should be able to throw it against anything, and that's another reason why we like it. Two concepts that we carry that are complementary to our scats, kind of games off of our scat, if you will. What we refer to as witch scat. We call it witch because we're working weak, okay, automatically. So we'll typically only carry one of these because we should never throw the field, and just asking those guys to run the shortest routes. I like to tag our hook concept with it. So it would be witch shook. Quarterback, it's a three-step set. You're moving that scat defender and the mic by looking to the post by three, okay? And then our back now, instead of running that swing, he's got what we call a wangle, which is just a deep angle. And then our boundary receiver, he's got a deep return, which you'll see how that plays well off of his speed dig. And then S1 and S2 have the concept call. Okay, so here's the look. We've got 3x1 attached tight end, and we are witch smash. This was smash 2 years ago. So these guys were running smash, and then I've got post, and I've got instead of my swing now, I've got a weak angle, and I've got a deep return, which this is nasty. Eyes to the boundary receiver here. But when we call witch, we're not reading anybody. We're working weak. This is something we've set up time and time again. That will is flying out of there like crazy. Anytime he sees the back swinging, we're going to knife underneath him as a plan. Obviously, our guy's got to avoid contact here. But the second read in the progression is this deep return, which you see he just absolutely breaks that kid off because he thinks he's working to the speed dig. Easy completion. And then up front, same thing. We are manning the boundary slide to the field. I was talking to you guys a little bit earlier about our O-line and working with those guys on holding space. As the center sets away from the shade here, he's going to be eyes to the gap that he's responsible for right away, but he's going to hold space on the shade because I'm now asking my guard, he's man set in this shade. That's a lot of work for that guy to do. But we get 3-tech spike A, so the center comes off on it right now, and now the guard turns into holding space as his eyes are to his gap. So all about helping your buddy up front. Okay, and then the other game that we'll carry off of that, as I mentioned before, the last one was witch because we worked weak. This one is slip because we work strong, okay? For the quarterback, he's reading post to angle, and then we work a peel back or a sail versus cloud coverage by field one or strong one, okay? He's not, again, there's no true scat read on slip, okay? Right away, he is post to angle to peel back. And when we want to call slip is when, man, that mic is carrying 3 vertical fast and hard, and we've got him bailing like crazy. We're just going to snap off that little angle route by 2. And for the quarterback, it's a 3-step set. He's working strong progression, reading the post to the angle to the peel back. The A's got a hot swing. There are some rules in here for plus slip, which is a double move type play for us. But not what we're talking about tonight. So S3's got the 3-0 post, angle by 2, peel back, converted to a cloud versus sail, speed by strong 1. Weak 1 has the speed dig, and the running back still has the hot swing. Okay. So again, 3x1 attached formation. All right. Three's got the post. I'll be getting dig here, swing here, angle. Again, this is the guy that we're playing the game with, and then peel back because I've got off coverage. Again, we love this when you guys key the mic here. He carries three really heavy, so we snap that angle off underneath him. Unfortunately, we get some sort of crazy holding penalty here, which all O-line coaches know don't really exist, so I won't even watch the tight with you there. And then another look at it here. Again, we've ran scat concept a couple times. That mic is carrying three real heavy. Okay, we're now in an extended formation. So I'm going to get post, angle, peel back because I've got off coverage, and then normal scat stuff here, just window dressing to make it look like normal scat. Mike's carrying three big time, cranking the angle underneath it. I just want to see that guy work a little flatter and faster, but he does a good job getting his eyes to the quarterback. Okay, that's all I have prepared for you guys. Again, those are our scat concepts. Just as much as being an open book, I love talking ball. So there's my Twitter handle, my email address, and my cell number. Feel free to text or call if any of you guys have any questions, or shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to share my presentation with you. And Coach, man, thanks for the time. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. No, I want to thank you for taking the time. Before we wrap it up, if anybody has any questions right now, please feel free to drop it in the chat box. Obviously, Coach, is willing to answer some questions if you guys had anything in regards to that presentation. If not, or if something comes to you later, as he's posted on the screen, there's his info, and you guys can get in contact with him that way, which would be just as good. And like I keep telling y'all, I mean, this is a time to really reach out and do that because we do have more time on your hands. So 100%. We have this. Yes, it'll be available later on the drive. What side do you work versus drop 8 coverage?
Versus drop 8, we should be working on the field. You're talking, or you're just saying drop 8, not an 8 coverage. It's still going to be dictated off of that scat defender. And again, if we're getting drop 8, obviously not something that we love. But just staying true to his rules. If they're in a 3-down odd, depending upon if the middle field is open or closed, he's going to work off that guy. But not something that we love to drop 8, rush 3.
For sure. For sure. Any other questions, guys? Yes, this will be available on Drive if you guys want to go back and watch it again. And obviously, if there's any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to Coach, man. And, obviously, we want to thank him for being willing to, talk ball with us and answer any questions that we may have in regards to this or any other stuff. Obviously, like we were stating before, I mean, pretty unique spot over at Rolls-Holman. So reach out and find out more about the school as well. I think that's important too. So, this is definitely a really good presentation, Coach. I want to thank you again for taking the time to help us get better tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, any of you guys ever need anything, don't hesitate to give me a shout.
Appreciate it, Coach. And